Hey gang, Ronan here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of WTF Wednesday. The series where we take a look at games that on paper seem very much like a good idea, but in reality, maybe not so much. And for this week, we're going to go back to 1995 and the good old Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and we're going to play Star Trek Starfleet Academy Starship Bridge Simulator. And I won't lie, that's a mouthful and a half. Like I said, this game came out on the Super NES in North America in January of 1995, and then it was released on the Sega 32X edition to the Genesis/Mega Drive in December of the same year. It's not a very well received game. In fact, I didn't get too much detail on it other than Electronic Gaming Monthly, of the two versions, scored the 32X version a barely respectable 6.675 out of 10. And when Next Generation reviewed the Super NES version, which is the one we are playing, they gave it 2 stars out of 5, stating, quote, "It's a game, Jim, but not as we'd like it," end quote. So, I wanted to play this game for a couple reasons. One, because this fits pretty much right in line with my original thesis for this series, which is a game that when it came out could have been a whole lot more than it was. And also because it's a game that when I was really, really young and getting into playing video games in the early to mid 80s, there was a different version of this game, but it was available only for the Commodore VIC-20. Which, if you don't know what that console is, it is a proto-PC of the first generation. How powerful that, and it was literally a keyboard with a motherboard in it with a processor. That was the whole thing. There was no tower, there was nothing. It was just a keyboard. Look it up on Google if you have never seen it before. And it had a super massive memory capacity of, and I'm not kidding, 4,086 bytes. Now you take that by comparison to what a modern computer has, and it's about, I think if you break it down, it's about 1/10,000th to about 1/100,000th of the power. So anyway, what we're going to do for this game over the course of the next about 25 minutes or so is we're going to just try and work our way through a couple of the scenarios in this game. Now, you do play a new cadet at Starfleet Academy. If you're not familiar with Star Trek, one, what are you doing watching this episode? Go immerse yourself in it and get acclimated to it. This will be here when you get back. And two, you can't choose your own name. So unlike other games where I just put my name in, I'm going to have to be able to pick from the allotted list of the few that are here. So I'm going to go, I'll take Mike, and that's a good sounding Starfleet-esque kind of name. I'll go Hawkins. How about that? I'll keep it at average. You can go average, advanced, or legend. And obviously you can go between male and female if you want. Whoops. And then you get to Starfleet Academy. And Starfleet Academy is, in the history of the series, based in San Francisco. So these are your quarters, and now this is very much like a, kind of mid to late 80s / early 90s simulator, where if you played games like Wing Commander or X-Wing Flight Academy for Star Wars, stuff like that, it's in a similar layout. And I think part of this was they were capitalizing on that for trying to get people interested in Star Trek. This was right around the time that Next Generation was ending its run, around the mid-90s or so. And it was still pretty high in the social consciousness. You were transitioning over to Deep Space Nine, which transitioned into Voyager, which transitioned into Enterprise, and by that point, that run of Star Trek creativity kind of ran itself out. So you get this database in your quarters of the different ships of the Federation that you can use. So you get the Oberth class, which is a science class of ship. It's this one here, which was appeared, I think, in Star Trek 3, if I recall. There's the Miranda class, which is the one from Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, which is Star Trek II, which is still my personal favorite Star Trek movie. There's obviously the good old Constitution class, and it is the movie version of the Constitution class, which is my favorite variation of the Enterprise still to this day. I have a interesting ongoing debate with my son, who is he's just about a teenager now, about which version. He's a huge Star Trek fan, even more so than I am, of which is the best version of the Enterprise. He's very much in the next generation Enterprise D. I still stand by the one from the original movies. And then you have the Excelsior. So, and then you can go down the list of the different Klingon ships, the different Romulan ships, Gorns, Tholians, Venturis, and so on. So this gives you a general overview of the sort of things you're going to run into in this game. And if you want to get some shut-eye, this allows you to go get some sleep, or you can leave here and then go to your lessons. Now, this game was created by Interplay with some help from High Voltage Software for the 32-bit version. And if that name Interplay seems familiar to you, it should, because they have been around for a really long time. They started in 1983 as Interplay Productions and are still going today, although in a much more limited capacity. But they have also, along with having come out with a lot of Star Trek based games, they had the license for a long time. They did the 25th anniversary edition of Star Trek across 3 different consoles back in 1992. They also came out with different PC-based simulators like Star Trek Starfleet Command, which is a game that I tried to play as well as Klingon Academy. But they've also done games like Baldur's Gate. They did the original Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, for those of you guys who are playing Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment. And I'm going to, we'll go ahead and do the basic training so you can get an idea of how this works. So this is the general layout of your ship. Now we're flying a Mark IV Oberth class vessel. So this is a training simulator. And what we have to do is we've got to do standard navigation, which gives you a chance to see how the controls on this game work. So your Y button is to accelerate, and you will see the green bar go up on the right side here, and that is showing we are at like just past, I think it's what, impulse power, I think. And then you hit the X button to slow down. Now there are 4 buoys that are floating out here in space that we've got to come into contact with. And as soon as we do this, then we can move on to the next thing. Now, when I played the VIC-20 version as a kid, I really liked it, which is interesting because I'm not a massive Star Trek fan. I'm a first-generation Whovian. I grew up on the original series of Doctor Who, and was a massive, massive Star Wars fan as a kid. To the point where when I was in kindergarten and first grade, I got in trouble for not putting my name on my schoolwork, but instead putting Luke Skywalker on it. It was 1980-81. What are you going to do? So we've navigated and successfully gone by all 4 of the navigation buoys. So now we have to jump to a different sector, which is Beta Sector, to carry on with our mission. So that allows us to go to the navigation menu. You hit select and you get these different stations. So you have the helm, you have engineering, science, navigation, and communications. So what we want to do is we want the navigation system, and what we are looking for is this coordinate for Beta Federation space. We hit X, and we get a slight warp jump, I think. Either that or we just get a extended impulse boost. So now we have to get up close to this buoy here, and then deploy the tractor beam. And then we will tow it to a starbase, which is also in this area. It's that white dot. If you look down below the main view screen, you will see where that red dot is. That's kind of our tactical radar for lack of a better term. So I have to go over here to the helm, have them turn on the tractor beam, and then we exit out, and then we exit out. And then what I have to do is I have to turn the ship around. There is the starbase. And we want to accelerate up to it, but not so close that we run into it. You don't want to hit it. Now, one thing you can do while floating or while moving in space, if you use the R1 and L1 triggers on your controller, which was an option back on the old SNES. In fact, it was one of the first controllers that I know of on a modern console that had shoulder buttons. So we have to get to a full stop. That will change the pitch by which you are moving, so you can kind of line yourself up with things. You don't always have to use it, but it's a nice thing to have. So we'll turn the tractor beam off, and then we have to hail Starbase and let them know. Whoop. Well, they're telling us to deliver the buoy, but we just did. Oh yeah, you've delivered the buoy, now hail the Starbase. So now we've got to come back over here. Now we got to hail them. Thank you for delivering the buoy. Your orders are to warp to sector 013.022, identified as Gamma. And we warped right through the starbase. We shouldn't be doing that. So now this is basic combat. So what we will do here is we've got a couple of freighters that we can go and attack. Now your square button, or your X button. Oh, hang on. In order to do this first, as they will evade me, you have to go to red alert. So you have 3 ship status conditions. You have condition green, condition yellow, and of course red alert. The only way you will activate your weapons is by going to red alert, and then you can turn on the tactical screen here. And now that we're at red alert, I can speed up, and there's ship number 1. So now we can start firing phasers. And the circle button, or the B button, depending on your configuration, will fire the photon torpedoes. So how you know you've got enough photon torpedoes is when you see me fire one, the upper right-hand corner went red because that one has been exhausted. And essentially, considering these are test dummies, they're not going to fire back at us. Blew that one up. Now, because the ship we are using is a science vessel, it's not going to be super well equipped. This is much more of an exploration and laboratory vessel. So this is not one that we're going to be using very often, I would suspect, in most of the simulations they run in this game. I got to find out where this guy is, because he was right in front of us. Now he's, I think, right behind us. So, easiest way to do it is to accelerate and come around. There he is. And we blew him up. So, good job. You should now be ready to start your first true simulator mission. If you would like to practice combat training against attacking simulator ships, select combat training in the training simulator. Simulation is over. You are dismissed. So now, if we wanted to, we can go to the barracks and we can talk with people here. And we can get some food if we want to. We don't serve alcohol here. I do like to make my own beverages. I'll have to get you to try some. Or we can go back to our quarters. And we can do more research if we wanted. Or in this case, we can just go to sleep, in which case you get your password. Now, this is still an era where passwords were essential to being able to proceed in games once you shut them off. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm not going to play that much. So the next day you can come in here to the classroom, and they'll explain more information about what you need to be able to do. So in this case, this is about battle conditions. So when you go to yellow alert, you can put your shields up, but you won't be able to use weapons, whereas red alert, you will have the ability to do both. And then green alert, obviously, you are running without shields and without weapons. And this gives you a chance to take a look at your Academy transcript and see where you are at. So we got enough time to try one more mission. I could go ahead and run the initial one again, but I'm not going to, so... Now we have mission 101. Where did the radioactive object come from? That information is not currently available, but we believe it may be an old abandoned probe or a derelict spacecraft. When will we know when we're far enough to safely detonate it? Your science officer will inform you when you have reached the safe distance from the planet. So this will essentially run through the parameters of what you need for this test. And then if you're not entirely sure what you need to do, you can go here in the communications menu to your orders. Our orders are to proceed to Beta 2. Once there, we must find the radioactive object that is threatening the planet and tractor beam it to a safe distance away before destroying it. After the mission is complete, we are to return to Starbase 12. Which is what I assume we are at now. So we are at Starbase 12. Excuse me, this is Beta 2. So we'll warp over here. We are in the beta sector now. And this is the planet. Now, we obviously can't land on the planet. The Starship doesn't have the capacity to land anywhere. But what I think we will need to do is get close enough, get into orbit, and see if we can hail anybody. Beta 2 wishes us luck. Okay, now we can come into the science menu and run a sensor sweep. Sensors show nothing unusual. And we can have the computer give us information about anything specific that we might need for this. Our status report, we must destroy the radioactive object as quickly as possible, which we already know. So let's see if we can use the tractor beam. We need to get closer to the object, so we're not close enough yet. So we gotta... approaching object, radiation at dangerous levels. And we just blew ourselves up. Your score for the mission is 0%. A 75 score is considered, or 75% score is considered a passing grade. During the course of your mission, your ship was lost. That is an automatic failing grade. Always raise your shields when approaching a hazardous area. You are dismissed. Alright, well, we got about 10 minutes left, so let's try it one more time. We've already completed the current mission. Okay. So we can only do one mission a day, it looks like. And now we're going to try mission 02. So our orders in this case... proceed to sector 015.022. From there, we are to locate the USS Kitty Hawk. After completion of our mission, we are to return to Starbase 14. So we've got to go find a fellow Federation ship. And it is in unexplored space. Starfleet message buoy is close to the planet. We should go to close range and tractor it into our hold. So there's a planet around here somewhere. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go to yellow alert. And conduct sensor sweep. Message buoy is close to the planet. Okay, well, we got to find the planet. There it is. So go approach it. Short-range sensors reveal signs of heavy orbital bombardment with nuclear weapons. Planet's atmosphere appears to have been burned away in the atomic fire. So something blasted this planet. And use the tractor beam. Decoding the buoy, the Kitty Hawk's communications circuits were damaged at an ion storm. They decided to go ahead with their mission and have headed to sector 016.022. Okay. So we've warped to the next sector. And we need to do another sensor sweep. Starfleet message buoy is mixed in with some debris. We should close in and tractor it into our hold. So now I have to find where this thing is located at, and when I'm seeing it, every once in a while it shows up on our radar down there, but we're not seeing it anywhere else. There it is. It's nice having that little radar screen there, but also it can make it really hard to discern what is where. Sensors read massive amounts of debris. There was a battle here between two space fleets. The computer cannot identify any of the ships involved from this wreckage. There is a Federation message buoy among the remains. Alright, so we got to be able to get close enough to tractor this thing in. Ooh, I ran right into it. Well, I wasn't planning to do that. I was trying to slow down. But did we lose it? I think we did lose it. Which means we have to jump to the next area. Alright, there's another buoy right here. And hopefully I won't run into this one. For such a small ship, this Oberth class does not exactly stop on a dime. Oop, and we've got another ship coming our way. But I want to be able to get close enough to tractor this. Kitty Hawk's attacked by a vessel. They succeed in destroying the alien craft, but the Kitty Hawk suffered a hit to her engines, which caused the antimatter containment field to collapse and explode. Crew managed to make it into escape pods and are heading towards Sector 017.021. Okay, and I need to know what... Alright, I'm going to go to Red Alert because I don't know what I'm dealing with this other ship. Hecate Captain on screen. We are looking for missing escape pods. Can you give us a hand? We detected wreckage from your enemy. From our enemy here. Life support pods might make it to Jockwell Sector 17020, but there are many enemies there. Alright, so let's get over to... They said they were going this way. No response. And it looks like we're not seeing anything over here after all. So, we'll make one more quick jump up here. Okay, what all is around here? Sensor sweep detects an escape pod. Whoop. Just saw it. There it is. And there's another ship. So we gotta get over this life pod quick, because I suspect that other ship that is in the vicinity is one that's gonna try and take us out. Kitty Hawk says it's happy to see us. I'm going to stand down from Red Alert because I am firing weapons that I don't want to be firing at this ship. And I almost ran into it again. Yeah, the controls in this game are quite wonky. Alright, so we got that one. And we'll pick this one up. I know we're at 30 minutes. This one ran a little bit longer than I planned. Oh, we're being jammed. Okay. We're definitely going to get to red alert. Ooh. Our shields took a heck of a hit. We're going up against a warship and a science vessel. So I think the best thing for us is to get back here. Alright, now we report to the debriefing. Our score for the mission is 100%, which means we passed. You're penalized for not thoroughly investigating the area. You only succeed by blind luck, not by any reasoning power. Because you use certain ship systems near a starbase. Never call a red alert near a starbase without a good reason. You are dismissed. But yeah, we passed it. So, I mean, and that in a nutshell is this game. So, you know, let's get to our usual questions. Is it a good game? I mean, for what it's designed to be, I suppose so. But you would have to be a really, really tried and true Trekkie to really get into a game like this. And even with that, I don't think there's enough going for it for you to really be engaged in it over a long period of time. Yeah, it's cool, the idea of being a captain and sitting in the captain's chair and commanding missions and controlling a starship and doing all that stuff. That was the one thing as a kid playing on the original version on the VIC-20 that I always thought was cool. It was like, hey, I get to be the one, I get to be Captain Kirk and control the Starship Enterprise. Considering you start at such a low rank and have to work your way up, if this game does not really keep your attention for long spans of time, then my guess is odds are you're never going to finish it, or you may get back to it once in a blue moon, and if you do that and you're anything like me, then odds are you're going to forget where you are in terms of progress, and that's going to impact your overall enjoyability of the game. Now, question number 2, is this a game they could do now? I don't see why not. I mean, especially with what we've seen come out in the last 5-6 years, the games like No Man's Sky, and obviously most recently Starfield. The ability to come up with a game that incorporates a lot of the same aesthetic in a more contemporary and updated platform on modern graphics engines, honestly, I would actually find that really cool. And again, it's not like Interplay didn't try this already as the generations proceeded. Like I said, I played Starfleet Command, which is a PC-based version, and it had more 3D graphics and things like that. But that game was... It had its issues as well. Not that I ever expect these games to be perfect, but it was one that, because of the issues it had in terms of its combat mechanics and things like that, I just never really enjoyed it as much. So, when I say this is one you might want to give it a try, if you're like me and you like Trek, I mean, you might want to take a look at it, but I would also argue, especially nowadays, there are a lot better games in the franchise that you've probably discovered already, and if you're not playing them by now, then you'll probably find them at some point. So, but again, that, everybody, is Starfleet Academy Starship Bridge Simulator from 1995 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So if you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have, best way you can show it is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Again, as always, massive thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel in the last couple of weeks. We are so close to getting to our initial goal of 100 subscribers that, I'm hoping that we can be able to get there by the end of the month. And if that is the case, then we'll have to figure out our next big bonus piece of content that we can put together. Do hope you guys tune in as well this weekend, as we are continuing our original bonus content of me going through and playing my, for the first time, Dark Souls Remastered. We did do it as an homage to commemorate hitting 200 videos on this channel. And we're, I think, about 14, 15 episodes into that now, and I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I did change around some stuff. We did get some requests by one of our loyal viewers, Big Drama, and their partner, letting us know they were having a hard time tracking the episodes as I was posting them in order, and it was purely because I had them, the episode numbers listed badly on the title bar. So we have gone and changed that. Those responsible for sacking those who have been sacked have been sacked. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retrocade. And as always, if there's a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles you want. My name is Ronan. It has been great to spend this WTF Wednesday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you again this weekend as we dive even further into Dark Souls Remastered. Bye!